Hello, dear friend. You are watching the 2021 astrology prediction for people who have their sun or ascendant in Libra. We'll discuss the most important astrology indications, including the social planets Jupiter and Saturn, which are moving into another sign and will totally change the overall perspective. We'll talk about the outer planets, Mercury and Venus retrograde, nodes and eclipses, and you will be fully prepared for 2021. Before we dive deep into those events, I just want to share a wonderful gift I have prepared for you. The astrology calendar for January is completely free. You can check the link below and download it immediately. If you like it, you can get the full version, which also comes with an in-depth webinar. So check the link below and I hope you will join us. Okay, let's get started with Jupiter and Saturn. The interesting part is that they are both ingressing Aquarius. For the most part of the year, Jupiter will be in Aquarius, but not the whole year. We'll talk about it. But between January and the middle of May, and after that, between August and December, Jupiter is in Aquarius. For you, Libra, this is actually a very supportive position because this is also an air sign. Libra and Aquarius are both air signs, which means that there is a harmony between the energy of those signs. They communicate harmoniously with each other. And we are always happy to hear about this because Jupiter is the planet of abundance and growth and opportunities and success. So with one word or one sentence, we can say that Jupiter will really support you during the year. It will trigger your fifth house, which I find to be one of the most important houses in the chart. Because fifth house represents our desires, our love towards the world, towards our children, romantic partners, or our hobbies, or the things that we are passionate about. And with Jupiter moving to your fifth house most of the year, you can really expand this area. You can find more things that you really enjoy doing. You may have more opportunities when it comes to love and romance, potentially even things related to children. We shouldn't forget that Jupiter is not on its own there. So Saturn is there as well, which means that Jupiter can bring you this expansion and positivity. And on the other side, Saturn can keep us grounded and also in touch with reality. So we don't talk about wasting your time on meaningless activities that may bring you some joy, but don't have a real meaning. With Saturn, you may probably focus more on things that you enjoy, but they are also in some way important for your growth. So Jupiter is also moving in your sixth house, mostly during the summer, between the middle of May and the end of July. And Jupiter in sixth house is actually very supportive for your work, for your business or daily schedule, daily routines, and even for your health. You may start a new job, you can get promoted, you can start a new business, and you can also improve your health, especially during those couple of months. And another thing we need to mention here is that Jupiter will square Uranus. This is happening during January, and it triggers your fifth and eighth house. Very interesting combination because those are the two houses which are related to taking risks. And Uranus and Jupiter are also planets which enjoy the risk, especially Uranus. So be careful, especially around January, for potential risks that include finance, money, investments, things that you are passionate about, things that you love. It's not necessarily something bad, but it could be unpredictable and you might take a reckless or impulsive decision. So I would highly recommend you to be careful with the risks that you take, with financial stuff. For women, this could be a specific position when it comes to pregnancy and children, because those two houses actually trigger this area. Eighth house, it's about conceiving and the pregnancy and the process of giving birth. And fifth house is generally our children. So this could be an area you need to be more careful with. Okay, moving on to Saturn. As we said, Saturn is also in Aquarius. Saturn is also strong in Aquarius, feeling comfortable there. But Saturn will be your friend. Saturn will trine Libra, which means that it's also a supportive position. Here, it's quite important actually to check the degrees. Saturn will be between the 2nd and the 14th degree of Aquarius during 2021. And I highly recommend you check where is the cusp of your 5th house, especially if your rising sign is Libra. And if you're not sure, you can use my free birth chart calculator. The link is below, and just check important cusps of houses. But overall, Saturn in your 5th house requires a more serious attitude when it comes to love, when it comes to romance and children and hobbies and entertainment. So it's kind of interesting that Jupiter from one side may bring you the desire to expand and grow and have more things. On the other side, Saturn will bring your focus also to some stability and practicality. And eventually it may turn to be a very good combination if you use it wisely. But with Saturn, you really need to be responsible in those areas of your life. And it's important to mention that Saturn is also squaring Uranus, but it will happen 3 times: February, June, and December. Saturn in 5th house squares your Uranus in 8th house. You need to be very cautious with expenses, with investments, when it comes to children. For women, if they are interested in conceiving, those are also more challenging, or periods that may require a little bit more cautious attitude. Also, this could be the time to experience some kind of changes, to kind of like break certain boundaries or get out of this limitation. And this can bring you freedom. It might feel uncomfortable and stressful and very unpredictable, but you can get rid of things that you don't need anymore in your life when it comes to love and romance and your hobbies and your money and financial stuff as well. Okay, moving on to Uranus. We already mentioned Uranus is in your 8th house during the whole year. The exact degrees between 7th and the 15th. It's even more important to check the cusp of your 8th house here. Please do that if you don't know it. And if you find that Uranus is crossing the cusp of your 8th house, this is a time to be very careful when it comes to risk taking, especially if there is a possibility that it might harm your health, your physical well-being. Be extra careful. Here I'm talking about things like bungees or parachutes or extreme sports, you know, things that they bring certain risk for your health. So try to avoid those. Be more careful also with investments, financial decisions, especially at the times when Uranus is triggering the cusp of 8th house. Those are the pivotal, really intense changes and moments. You may also need to be more careful with your health overall, with your energy, especially with your energy balance. Moving on to Neptune. So Neptune will be in your 6th house, and it will cross the degrees between the 19th and the 24th. So again, we have the same question: where is the cusp of your 6th house? And if the cusp of your 6th house is somewhere between those degrees in Pisces, this could be a very important transit for you. Neptune in sixth house from one side can bring certain complications, can mess up things related to your work. It might feel confusing. There could be some kind of lies or things that are happening behind your back. And overall, you need to be more careful. On the other side, Neptune can bring more creative approach. Neptune can make you more intuitive or capable of taking care of other people or helping them. And overall, it can increase your compassion. If Neptune triggers your sixth house, you may also need to pay some attention to your health. Neptune can trigger sometimes unclear, complicated symptoms that are more challenging to be diagnosed. If you have issues with your immune system or allergies, those may also be triggered. But of course, to make some more general conclusions, you need to interpret the whole chart. So this is just a very general guidance where to start from. Okay, and the last outer planet is Pluto, which will be in your fourth house. It's an angular house, so quite an important position. And also, potentially, Pluto may square your sun or rising sign. This will happen only if your sun or rising sign is somewhere between the 25th and the 27th degree, plus minus 2 degrees. 1 degree for the ascendant, 2 degrees for your sun. So again, check your chart, see where exactly is your sun and your rising sign. If Pluto squares them, those are one of the most transformative periods in life. So you need to really understand yourself. You need to transform yourself. You may need to heal the past, the relationship with family members, with your parents or other family members as well. And overall, this might feel kind of challenging and stressful and confusing, but those are necessary transformations that you need to embrace. The best thing you can do is to be open for self-analysis. A wonderful idea would be psychotherapy or other type of energy healing methods, which can help you to understand yourself better, your own psychology, and even your subconscious mind. This may play a crucial role in understanding yourself better. And of course, if Pluto happens to cross the cusp of your fourth house, which means that the cusp of your fourth house needs to be somewhere around those degrees in Capricorn, 25th, 27th, plus minus 1. Those could be also some intense, challenging transformations, which trigger mostly your personal life and family. Sometimes Pluto triggering fourth house may bring big changes like relocation, like changing homes, but you need to be cautious. Probably it won't be something simple. You need to dig deeper and you need to be ready for some intense changes. Next, we have the eclipses and the nodes. The lunar nodes are triggering your third and your ninth house. The important thing is that the North Node is in your ninth house, which means that this is the area where you can expand, where you can grow, and where actually it would be highly recommended for you to focus on. Ninth house is also one of the most positive houses in the chart. It's about learning, it's about expanding your vision about the future, it's about your own philosophy, and I really recommend you focus on that, learning something new, diving deeper into something that would really open up your eyes for a different world, a different perspective. This may also be related to traveling or communicating with people who come from different cultures, exploring things, and also setting up goals for the future. Really deciding for yourself, what do you want 2021 to be for you? And maybe even look further ahead for the next couple of years in your life. The important eclipses. The May eclipse triggers 9th and 3rd house, which means you need to find the balance between your goals and your tasks. You need to work on your way of thinking, also quite important. Then the June eclipse triggers only 9th house, and this comes with also triggering the North Node. And it means that you may focus on the future, you can set up some new goals, you can accomplish something important when it comes to education or knowledge. Then the November eclipse is triggering actually your 8th and 2nd house. Those are the houses related to our energy, our resources, the balance between taking and giving. And obviously that's what you need to work on at that point. And the last eclipse, which is during December, triggers the South Node in your 3rd house. And it's about letting certain things go, setting free from certain ideas, certain maybe plans, or just opening up your mind for something different. But before that, again, you need to let go. So it's mostly about working with the past. Okay, and now we have Venus and Mercury retro. Venus will be retrograde at the very end of the year, starting from the 19th of December. Obviously, it will continue until the end of the year, and after that, January 2022. Venus will be retrograde in 4th house, and it's actually quite important because Venus is the ruler of Libra. It's your own ruler. And this could be time to reconsider generally your perspective, your plans, your actions, and specifically things related to your personal life and family. You may need to dive deeper into the past, maybe heal some trauma, some emotions that have been pushed or suppressed, or you might think you have already forgotten about them. Venus retrograde may bring those things to the surface so that you can finally heal them. And of course, this is also time to work with your family relationships, maybe heal or resolve certain potential issues. All right, and finally, Mercury retrograde, which will also play an important role because Mercury will be retrograde only in the air signs 3 times during 2021, and that includes Libra. And the most important phase of Mercury retrograde for you is the September-October phase. Between the 30th of September and the 18th of October, Mercury will be retro in Libra. So changes about your own plans, reconsidering your behavior, your actions, all of it. Also, 9th and 5th house will be the other retrograde positions, and those are actually the houses of action taking. Those are the houses that are related to the fire energy, 1st, 5th, and 9th house. So you may need to reconsider your actions, your plans, and your desires overall during 2021. As I said, the most important is the September-October retrograde phase of Mercury, but the others may also trigger and require your changes when it comes to actions and plans for the future. So with that, we covered the most important events during 2021. Don't forget to check your free January calendar for 2021. It comes with, it's a PDF version, but it also comes with the Google integration. So you can immediately add it to your Google Calendar. And I honestly find this very valuable and informative. If you are interested, you can get the full calendar, which also comes with a really interesting and in-depth webinar about 2021. Which will allow us to dive deeper into understanding what each of those planetary positions mean. Eclipses, social planets, outer planets, retrograde phases, and much more. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all a fantastic 2021, and I'll catch you next time.